Hey, what's going on, people? It's Ed, your blind buddy. I'm gonna coming on here, man. I'm thinking I'm fixing to do a series of things and it's gonna be titled Judgment Call. So I'm gonna have it put down as this is gonna be like part one or something like that. I mean, it's like right now saying I call it Judgment Call, man, because from here on out, everything I'm making a judgment call, and I have every right as a human on this planet, as a citizen of this country, born and raised here, to make a judgment call, because everybody makes judgment calls every day. You know what I mean? Sometimes we make good judgment calls, and sometimes we make bad judgment calls. But either way, I would like to, say, everything that I've done, since I started doing these videos, I'm making a judgment call, man. And so the things that if anybody done heard me say, done got offended by, whatever, I'm making a judgment call. These are things in judgment that I can speak against. I can speak against certain things. And if people say, well, you can't judge me, people don't know what judgment is.
Right.
If I make a judgment call, that means I'm either going to do something or I'm not going to do it. And if I make a call not to do it, then that's my right not to do it. And if you insist on doing things like that around me, I can make a judgment call and ask you not to do those things around me. You should not be offended because judgment has been put upon you about your actions around someone that makes a judgment call against actions that you're doing in their direction when they don't entertain those actions. This is a judgment call. When you get in your car and choose to drive drunk, that is a judgment call. It's poor judgment. That's why you get in trouble for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You made a judgment call. If you decide to put dope in your car and ride through a police-infested county, it's a judgment call. It's a stupid judgment call, but it's a judgment call nonetheless. And see, that's why people get this only God can judge me thing. They get it all twisted up. God is judging you every day. The earth is on judgment call. If you make bad judgment, things is going to happen to you. If you make good judgment, things are still going to happen to you. We live in judgment. So don't, when somebody, I tell people, hey, you can judge me, because judging me only makes me better. Because when somebody tells me I'm doing something wrong, you better make sure it's actually wrong before you tell it to me, and you better be able to prove that it is before you do so. Otherwise, you're just trying to create an argument to win a case that goes against things that you think you ought to be able to do. With someone that makes a judgment call against your behavior when it comes to them. And there's a lot of people that falls into this category. That's why the earth is in the situation that it's in. That's why this country is in the disarray that it's in. Because nobody here thinks that they could be judged because of the judgment call that they're making, and not realizing you're making poor judgment calls. And you're subjecting everybody else to your bad judgment call when it comes to people's morality, and telling them they have no right to be judgmental of your immoral behavior. When, that's when you have the right to judge someone when they're doing something that you don't want to participate in. It's called judgment. I go against it. It's what a judgment is. This world got it all twisted up because the young people didn't take time to understand what judgment even means, because they were judged from the start because their parents let them make their own decisions. You know, children with no morals that were not taught any morals were allowed to make their own decisions and taught that that no one can tell them anything, and that's teaching a child that they can't be judged, and you not even aware as this child grows up. This child has to be taught that you're being judged every day by your actions.
Right.
Why you think people don't want to be seen in the limelight? Because they're being judged. They're being shown what they're doing. They're being shown for who they are, and they don't like it. You know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm making a judgment call every day. I go against the things that the Father in heaven says is wrong. And all of those that say that I'm wrong for doing so, you don't have to, you don't, in the courtroom, there ain't two reasons to be in the courtroom. You either being judged or you doing the judging.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the courtroom, if you come in, just know, I'm not doing what you're doing, so don't look at me as being anything other than judgmental of your behavior if it's something that I'm not going to participate in. I'm going to be very judgmental. And I don't care how you feel about it. Clack the gavel. You guilty as charged. So if you want to keep going against God, you're more than welcome to, but I'll be doggone if you're going to stand in my presence and tell me that I got to accept it. I'm going to be the judge. And if God go in your favor, then so be it. But he done told me, he done told me he go against it, so I'm on the side with the Father. And you could be on the side with the criminal all you want to. You know, one thing about the prosecutor defend crooked people and try to keep them in a place of crookedness. Because the prosecutor is just what he is, the prosecutor. You're being prosecuted and don't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
You're being prosecuted by the one that looks like it's your friend. You know, taking up for you in the manners of your sin, not realizing you're being judged from start to end. You better take heed to what I'm saying, people. I don't have to see you to know what any of us been doing, because I was born in this world just like everybody else. And I've been shown what we pursuing. You better change your direction and hope you get on probation. You understand what I'm talking about?
Oof.
Better hope the judge will give you probation, because everything here, we have been found wanting. You are guilty from every day that you get up to the day that you take your last breath. You are guilty of everything that you do here. Be able to make a judgment call to where if you're going to be found guilty of anything, at least be found guilty of seeking out the truth where the Father will see that you are seeking him out rather than continue to seek out the very things that he done put judgment on, that he is going to destroy. Don't be caught in a criminal backlash of something that you thought was presented to you in a manner to where it was going to be seen as something of grand juncture in a courtroom of judgment where the Father has judged it for damnation. I'm just going to tell you that as bold as I can tell you, when I make a judgment call, my judgment call is going to be for morality. If you're living on an immoral way, then just know I am your judge, and I will always be your judge. I don't care if you don't like me. You know, who does like a judge that will go against what they, you can do whatever you want to, just don't do it around me. I don't particularly care for the behaviors of things that go against God now, and I'm glad I don't see. That's why I'm like I am. I'm glad I'm the way I am, so yeah. I'm telling you, all those you've been chasing away and looking for the Father, and you better close your eyes and let him light the way for you. Because as long as you think you can see the light, you're going to be running. Because the deer stands still because he don't know what to do in the light.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you get run over every time. So run around in all this light thinking you know what you're doing. You better close your eyes and open them back up and look around and see if you can see the light being brought to you instead of you trying to run, in the one that you think it is and get caught in so much of it. And you're going to be standing there looking like a deer in headlights when they run you over. If you're going to cast judgment, man, cast the right judgment. This world is brought upon, and it's on a wide scale of evil. So when you got so many people going against the smallest of moral, and you got the masses going against what they call moral, you might want to check where you casting your judgment at. The jury is about to the jury getting ready to come in, the real jury. And we all found guilty. Better, I would like to say, just make sure that you ain't sitting on the wrong end of the table. Don't like to change. Blind buddy, out, baby.